What's going on, guys? Welcome back to All Access Magic. My name is Ryan Edwards. This guy over here is
Blaze Sarah. Welcome everybody to the show. This is our most planned episode of all time.
Definitely.
We have so many ideas for what's about to happen. This is we are winging this one.
I mean, I do. I've got lots on the.
I got lots on the noggin too that I haven't told you about yet either. But whether it works or not is an entirely different question.
Yeah, this is just going to be a surprise episode all the way through for everyone watching. So, yeah, we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to mess around. We're going to play some different games that we haven't done before. This is our in-between Christmas and New Year's episode, where it's just going to be us two chatting with you guys tonight. Chatting and getting feedback from you guys, and also playing some games with you guys as well. So it's going to be a fun, probably a faster, a little bit shorter episode than our usual 3-hour episode. But,
unless we just have too much fun chatting. Also, we've never done an Access Magic episode that was just us. We did some with Magic After Dark that were just us, but I think this is also an opportunity for people that are watching to get to know the hosts a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, we should ask each other 20 questions. We've never done that.
We haven't asked each other 20 questions. No.
So maybe we'll have to do that. I see we got a bunch of people on already, which is great. I see Tigger T says how the holidays been so far.
You didn't really get to have the holidays, you know.
I didn't have any holidays. I was on a cruise last week, performing on the Celebrity Apex cruise ship. So I was performing last week, so missed out on all the family festivities at home. So we're actually going to get a family get-together on Saturday and do a New Year's Day celebration.
Oh, sweet. Okay, nice.
Yeah. And I'll open my Christmas gifts then, because I haven't opened any Christmas gifts yet.
You haven't opened any Christmas gifts? Really?
Just one from Anya before I left, but I haven't seen my family since I got back, so...
Wow. I got one Christmas gift, and it was a membership to a rock climbing gym and calisthenics gym. So that was perfect for me. It's so awesome. I love it. It was also, rock climbing is so much harder than I expected. I was
really?
I do a lot of calisthenics. I do a lot of pull-ups. It's fine. I'll be able to pull myself up.
And then it's all legs. It's all legs.
It's a lot of legs. And that was the thing, is I was thinking I was pulling myself up so much more, but you're grabbing by your fingertips, and my forearms were just shot. And I was like, oh, it's fine, because all of my gigs for the rest of this week got canceled because everybody got exposed to COVID. And then I had some people, the gig that was supposed to be yesterday was canceled. And then they reached out to me in the afternoon saying, hey, can you do a virtual show this afternoon? And it's my hands aren't working. We'll see what happens.
Stack, no, I can't even get a break. No, I actually love rock climbing. Me and Anya, actually, we bought rock climbing gear and stuff. So I've got a full set of gear and everything. So next time you're down, we'll go rock. Well, when you were staying with me, we were gonna go to a Ninja Warrior course.
We were gonna do that,
which is even more intense than rock climbing. It's rock climbing times 10. But it didn't end up happening. So we'll definitely do it. Mr. Sean Devine is in the house. What's going on, Sean? See, Leonard is in the house. Who else do we got here? Says Blair, always here.
Always says Blair, killing it.
And says you had the most funny video. I actually took my wife on your Instagram this week and went through all of your old videos as the All Access Magic Instagram page and started liking some of them. So that was fun.
Gotcha. Nice. And Leonard Miller also made a question right before we went live. Was saying, he said he's thinking about investing in a hoodie, and that's kind of perfect because that is an announcement that we were planning for this episode. One of the few things that we actually planned for tonight was to talk about the upcoming merch drop for All Access Magic. So you've been asking for it. We've had so many requests for All Access Magic merch with our All Access Magic logo, to have lasagna merch. What's your favorite genre of lasagna? And we've given a sneak peek in the past about.
We have, yeah. We've got a few of them.
In case anybody hasn't seen it, we've got a few things we can run through the list. These are some designs, but we also have a lot of designs that we're not going to show just yet that are still in the works that we're excited about. But we've got a Supreme style lasagna. We've got lasagna.
This is my favorite one.
This is my favorite as well. 2 + 2 = 1 lasagna. Like this is just, you got to be in on the joke.
If you are a true fan of the show, that it makes perfect sense to you.
It does make perfect sense. I wonder if lasagna thinks about me too. What's your favorite genre of lasagna? Of course, the classic, the
That's a classic.
So
that's a classic. And then, should we just tell them that we're going to have some special merch that is only available?
Yes, to our Patreon members.
If you're a Patreon member, you will get special access to some merch that no one else will be able to get, including some retro Magic After Dark merch that we wanted to bring out as like a super limited edition. We were working on some designs before we decided to change over to All Access Magic to revamp Magic After Dark. And so we decided between the two of us that we would bring out a special line, but it's only available with Patreon members. And it's the retro Magic After Dark. So it's going to be pretty sick.
We had a lot of requests for Magic After Dark merch when we were doing Magic After Dark. And I think we had some really cool designs. And so I think it'll be the perfect time to drop that exclusive to Patreon members. Also, I made an announcement in the previous episode 2 weeks ago that was near the very end. But for those of you that are here at the beginning, I took a release that I had put out to the Magic community a few years ago called the One Arm Bandit. I took it off of all stores and I have just put it up. It is currently only available to Patreon members of All Access Magic. So if you are interested in learning some of my sleight of hand, the things that I've created, one-handed center steals, it's basically a whole course in one-handed magic, like an hour and a half of learning a lot of very different, unique sleights that allow you to perform some pretty interesting routines that you can't really do otherwise without these one-handed methods. If you're interested in some of the, routines that have been able to, get my name out there in the Magic community, then check out our Patreon and you can learn it exclusively there. So
it's literally why Blaze is on this podcast. So if you want to get on your own podcast, you got to get it. Gotta become a Patreon member. You gotta get. You gotta learn One Arm Bandit. There you go. One Arm Bandit.
All you need is one arm and a microphone, and you too can have a podcast.
And you're good. You're good to go. So, but yeah. So I think we got some exciting stuff. I kind of want to start off with just a game, though. Do you want to go right into a game?
I asked Ryan to tell me what this game was that he was planning, and he refused. So I have no idea. I have as much an idea as all of you. We have a question. It's Kayla said, I'm a Patreon member. Where would I find the merch? It will be available after this episode. We're going to be launching it. So keep a lookout. We're also going to be releasing an episode of the Weekly Patter this weekend, and that will be exclusively available to the Patreon members. So check out the episode of the Weekly Patter coming this weekend, and that will give you all the info for where you can drop exclusive to you.
Yeah. And thank you for being a Patreon member. You will get some pretty sick stuff this weekend.
Yeah. I saw that this person, it's Kayla. They joined, I think, on Christmas. So thank you so much.
Sweet. That's a great Christmas present.
Great Christmas.
So I want to play a game that I didn't make up. It's an old game called Fact or Fiction. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I see, said the blind man.
I'm going to ask you some questions or say some statements, and you have to tell me whether they are fact or fiction. Now, if you're watching, make sure to comment. She said, yeah, it was a present. That's super awesome.
Well, thank you so much for supporting the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's super, super, super awesome. And yeah, the merch shop is going to be sick. I can't wait to get all this stuff. But I'm going to say some statements, and you have to say whether it's fact or fiction. And viewers comment as well, because we want to see who gets the highest score. Well, keep score for yourself. So, first statement is the hashtag symbol is technically called an octothorpe. Fact or fiction?
An octothorpe. Okay, so the thing is, immediately I think it is 2 lines up and down, and then it is 2 lines horizontal. So that's 4, but how many segments does it divide into? That would create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little squares. I don't know what with the octo that suffix or prefix 8 would have to do with anything. I'm like, what would 8 have to? But Michaela's really, it's Kayla's really.
Kayla says fact. Tigger T says fiction. What does everybody else think?
Really, it's a fact. I trust our loyal patron that it is called an octothorpe. I was only familiar knowing it as the pound sign. You know, it's known as the pound sign. And the hash symbol. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I gotta go with Kayla. Yeah, I gotta trust Says Blaira.
He says go with Kayla.
Oh man.
Right. Well, Tigger T is absolutely wrong. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the octo prefix refers to the 8 points. So you said there's 4, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 ends. Oh,
8 ends. But
interesting. I was trying to find what 8 was. Okay.
But Thorpe remains a mystery. So they don't even know why it's called an octothorpe.
They don't even know why it's called an octothorpe?
No. It says that one theory claims that it has become from Old English word for village, based on the idea that the symbol looks like a village surrounded by 8 fields.
No, it does not. It looks like a couple of...
The middle is supposed to be a village surrounded by 8 fields.
Village?
That's amazing. I should have asked that. I should have asked that.
What? What?
Okay. Are you ready for number 2?
Okay, this is good. All right.
All right. Question number 2.
All right.
The 100 folds on a chef's hat, you know, like the white, big, tall chef's hat.
Yeah.
It actually represents the number of ways to cook an egg.
No. I mean,
it's a lot. I can only think of like 6.
How important are eggs in like gastronomy? Like, what? How, like, are eggs that big of a deal that we would like make the symbol of chefs based around eggs? I'm gonna say it's fiction.
Okay. Lindsay says fiction. Kayla says, can we repeat, please? Yeah. So the 100 folds on a chef's hat represents how many ways to cook an egg. Tigger T says fiction. So we've got 3 fictions.
That the 100 folds on a chef's hat would represent all of the ways to cook an egg. First off, are there 100 ways to cook an egg? At some point now you're splitting hairs, because it's like, all right, we've got over easy, over medium, over hard, which all consist of like fried, and then we've got like and then we've got scrambled, sunny side up. Okay, we've got poached, we've got hard boiled, soft boiled, medium boiled. If you're really splitting hairs, and that just means you stop trying to soft boil your egg.
Yeah.
And like, what? Huh? No way. There's 104 ways to cook an egg.
Oh, she says fiction. She says fiction though.
I say it's fiction still. I think it's fiction, and I think there's no way it's 100 ways to cook an egg.
Okay, are you ready for the answer?
Yeah.
Yes, that tall pleated white hat that chefs wear, technically called a toque, has 100 folds for a reason. According to the Recluant Gourmet, the pleats used to signify a chef's level of experience, like the number of ways he or she knew how to prepare eggs. So that is technically what it stands for.
No.
Yep.
I reject this hypothesis. What? You,
That's what it says. I'm just reading.
wait, they
Good housekeeping has to be right. Good housekeeping's not gonna lie.
how many? Okay, how many ways can you cook an egg?
Are you,
That was actually one of the first. I just typed how many ways can, and then that was one of the first things. There's
oh,
scrambled
really?
over easy. Wow, and the
Yeah.
first thing that pops up is how to cook an egg and why there are 100 folds in a.
Yep.
You're talking about. Oh, okay. Shirred. What is a shirred egg? Yo, Mac.
Lindsay Harvey says my hat is a baseball cap. That's amazing. That's the best comment of the night.
Amazing. That's.
Um,
What are you talking about? No way. But now you're talking about adding cheese and stuff. I thought we were just cooking eggs.
hey, I don't know. I'm just reading the facts.
Pickled eggs?
Pickled eggs. Oh yeah, there's pickled eggs.
What's a pickled egg?
You see them in the bar all the time on the like a pickled egg. They put in like pickling juice.
Oh, I mean that's not what I'm ordering from a bar.
No, I wouldn't eat one, but I mean, there's like deviled eggs, right? That's it. Like every church
they're talking about that's, and they're like, there's all of these examples, and then they're like, that's just where the egg is the main ingredient. Don't forget about all the many other dishes that include eggs.
include eggs.
You're talking about cakes, souffles, breakfast burritos, egg noodles, mayonnaise, sauces.
Hey,
Are you counting mayo as a way to cook an egg?
I am just telling you that's what it stands for.
I'm upset with you. I'm shooting the messenger right now.
Cannot change why it's called that. Are you ready for question 3?
Yeah.
Good, sir. Okay. The most streamed Spotify single is Girl Crush by Harry Styles. True or fiction?
Girl Crush by Harry Styles? I don't even know that song.
No, me neither.
I don't even know that song.
It's like
what? I've got to say false. I feel like it would be All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah Carey. I think that's the number 1 streamed song of all time on Spotify. Fiction. And if it's fact, I'm gonna be so mind blown that I didn't know the name of the number 1 song.
Everyone has said fiction so far. If you think it's fact or fiction, comment.
Take your tea. Egg McMuffin, sausage egg McMuffin. Just go down the list. We're gonna
McDonald's has like 12 options.
Yeah, they do.
12 more. Justin is on Overkill. He's my neighbor. He's away at his cottage right now. Says fact. Says Blair says has to be fiction.
It's Baby Shark.
It's Baby Shark. That's amazing. Are you ready? I think we're good for the answer. Oh, that's funny. Nathan says fiction, who is Justin's son. So here we go. It is a fact. Harry Styles' song, Girl Crush, has 154 million streams, which is the number 1 right now.
No way. If you Google Girl Crush, you get a song by a different artist. And you're telling me.
I'm just saying, it says the most streamed Spotify single is Harry Styles' Girl Crush.
Most streamed Spotify
single.
Bruh.
I'm just telling you.
It says Shape of You is the most streamed Spotify single.
I'm telling you.
When is that article from?
How many does it have?
So list of most streamed. Well, that okay.
This is August 12th, 2021. So
okay.
You have to have more than 154 million between now and August. So like in the last 4 months.
Even at least on Wikipedia, where is Girl Crush? I'm gonna search it.
It's on Spotify. I want to search it as well. Let me do this.
Girl Crush is not even in the top 100.
No.
That is listed on the Wikipedia list of most streamed songs on Spotify.
Let's see. It can't be on Wikipedia.
Streams playlist top.
What are the most? Okay, here we go.
I would believe Shape of You has it because you hear Shape of You in every elevator ever.
But that doesn't mean it's streamed on Spotify.
True. Depends on where they're getting their elevator music.
Yeah.
What's up, Soccer Man? Keeping the Twitch chat held down. Dude, I'm not seeing any of these lists that are you sure that that's the result is corresponding?
It's literally what it says. It says the most streamed Spotify single is Harry Styles' Girl Crush.
I think that it's a lie. I can't. That one. Who is the number one artist on Spotify? Number one artist on Spotify is Ed Sheeran, and
but that's not
song in one day was okay. But most streams of all time.
There we go. Spotify charts.
Yeah.
Bring this up. All I Want for Christmas is right now, but that's weekly.
Okay. So
all right.
Most streams
global charts.
That's really insane. That's crazy if it's a song that like I've never heard.
Well, can we play it on the podcast?
No, we probably can't. We'll get DMCA'd so fast.
Yeah. We already did last week.
Last week for playing a minute of Alex Ramon's thing. Also, I noticed that because of that, even though I went back and removed that segment of the video, YouTube stopped showing that video. If you look up you can't find the Alex Ramon video unless you really dig for it. It doesn't.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
So, this is like December 3rd to 9th. They're not giving an all-time.
Okay. So
can any of our viewers find it?
Most streamed artists on Spotify results. Right now it says Drake is actually in the lead. And then it says that
how many does he have?
Though. That's for artists. What? Spotify most streamed songs all-time chart masters. And the number one song is Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. Despacito is 2.
Okay, so how many though?
Shape of You has 3,462,000,000.
That's a lot more than 154 million that this says. I'm gonna say
you're throwing around fiction in this game.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally taking this from goodhousekeeping.com.
Lies and deceit in these streets.
All right, we're gonna go fiction. We'll say fiction. I will try to find the proof this week.
I'm 2 out of 3 so far.
But I'm gonna say, do you know remember when there was this show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And the first guy to make it to the $1 million question, they asked him a question.
Yeah,
and he answered it. And they said, no, it's false. You're wrong. It was a different answer. Yeah, and so he went back and got a textbook that said that it was which river, which lake or something has the most amount of water in it.
Guy. Oh.
And you're thinking of the guy that was like, how far is Earth from the moon?
No, I'm thinking of the guy who the question was about an appearance with John F. Kennedy on the show Laugh-In or something, and
really?
Final question, he got to the $1 million. He hadn't used any of his lifelines, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to use a lifeline." He's like, "I'm gonna phone a friend," and then they're like, "All right, who do you need to call?" And he's like, "I'm gonna call my parents." And then he calls his parents, and he's like, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I didn't need your help. I just wanted to let you know I'm gonna win the $1 million."
That's the guy. They said, how far is it from? Yeah. No, they said, how far is the Earth to the sun or Earth to the moon? How many miles? And he already knew the answer. It's like 64 million miles or something like that from the Earth to the sun or the Earth to the moon. One of the two.
Interesting.
I like Tigger T says your facts seem like fiction, Ryan. I'm just going by what the website says.
Dan Blonsky, he appeared on it, and then interesting. Yeah, he asked that question, and then he brought in a textbook. It was right. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then they didn't give him the $1 million. What they said was, you can compete on the show again for $1 million. How bullshit is that?
Wow.
Right? Like the guy literally answered the $1 million question right, and they were like, well, we didn't air you getting it right, so we're not going to give you the $1 million. You can try the whole show again. As far as I know, that was what happened.
Huh. Interesting. That's so crazy.
Well, are you ready for the next question?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. The world's longest wedding veil was longer than 43 football fields long.
The world's longest wedding veil was more than 43 football fields long.
Football fields long.
You're just an asshole if you do that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Just such
football field's 100 yards. Well, a little bit more, like 120 yards.
Yeah, I want my wedding veil to be 4,300 yards, and I want an army of people to have to carry that behind me.
Yeah.
How long was the tail on?
Like Tigger T instantly said fiction.
Yeah, I think that's fiction. There's no, I mean, but at the same time, people do dumb stuff just to have a world record.
Yeah.
You
can't Google search that.
I'm not Google searching it.
Tigger T says, where do you get that much fabric? How many people did she have to carry it? Garvin says. That I could not tell you.
I'd say that's gotta be fiction.
Fiction?
Fiction.
All right, we got a lot of fictions. Kayla, are you still there? Are you thinking fiction? Kayla's got everything right so far, I think. That statement is real as it's not fabric. It's made up of printer paper with tracks on the side from the 90s. That's awesome. You wouldn't even remember that, would you? Did you have that when the printer like had the like tearaway bars on the side?
When a printer had tearaway bars on the side?
Yeah, like like the ones with like all the little holes that you like tear off.
Oh yeah. I've seen that before. Okay.
Justin says must be a fact, at least on Ryan's credible website. Exactly. I'm literally on Good Housekeeping. That's a pretty credible website.
Fact so far? All of them on your website have been a fact so far. I'm going to say that this is fiction, and then the other one was a lie, so I don't even trust anything.
That one was fiction. So there's 2 fictions so far. So yeah. Oh, Tigger T says I remember those. Yeah, that's how printer paper used to come. Nathan says fiction. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is fiction because the longest one is actually 63.5 football fields long. 23,000 feet. It's the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest wedding veil.
That's for her veil?
Just for her wedding veil. I don't know how you pull that. Like, how heavy is that? You're going to have a lot of people carrying that shit.
Caught on, like, a twig. It's
I don't know how, like, you have to be on a highway to stretch that far. Like I don't know how it is, but it's the Guinness Book of World Records. Yep. In Cyprus, whoever the woman is in Cyprus set the Guinness Book of World Records.
Okay, so I have a fact or fiction for you.
Okay.
So let me just make sure that I'm all right. So,
when did we start measuring things in football fields? When they're 23,000 feet long.
Yeah. What the hell? Okay, so the man with the world's longest fingernails had a thumbnail that was 5.5 feet long.
I remember watching this on Ripley's Believe It or Not when I was a child, and this guy's fingernails stretched all the way down to the ground and rolled up. So I'm going to say that's true. Because I know they rolled at the bottom.
They rolled.
And so they had to I remember they took a piece of string and wrapped it around his fingernails and then went all the way up. So I think it's probably close to that because I think the guy's probably 6 feet tall. And because of the roll, I'd say, yeah.
Someone said,
Okay, but where's Spade?
fiction. Says Blair said they were probably longer.
I know they were nasty. Like they had to clean them and they were still like brown. Like they looked so gross.
Fiction. Garvin says true. All right. Do you want to know the answer?
What's the answer?
It was similar to your last one. This man right here that we've both seen on that Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yes. Look how nasty those fingernails look.
Shilal, 82, let his fingernails grow for 6 decades, and his actual length was 6.5 feet.
Oh, so very close.
I kind of made that a troll one a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
You had seen it, you knew that it was true, but
I knew it was true. I knew it was super long.
It was longer than even 5.5 feet.
That's so gross.
That
is so nasty. Like you see his finger. Go back to that picture though. Can we blow that picture up for people? Like, yeah, look how brown these things are.
Dude, it's disgusting. And I remember.
And they said they're clean. That's the crazy thing is they clean them all the time.
In the Ripley's Believe It or Not episode, he was like, yeah, when I started growing my nails out, it was very hard to find a wife. It's very difficult. And then eventually it was like I think he married his sister-in-law. And it was
that makes sense.
They were already in the family. It worked out. But it's like, bruh, maybe don't have giant nails. Maybe
you already said a Guinness Book of World Records that no one else wants to get. So just cut them.
Nobody cares. Now, while I was looking for that one, I found this woman who has the longest nails.
Oh, hers are nasty.
Hers aren't as
gross.
She paints them. Yeah. So all of the gunk is underneath.
I think she's got the world's longest toenails as well. That same lady.
I don't know.
And they're like, I kid you not, they're like this, and it's like, and they just go whoop.
Walking around barefoot everywhere.
Yeah, it's so nasty.
It's so gross, man. Okay, so you had another one?
Yes. Fact or fiction? Some cats are allergic to people.
Fact. I think that's true. I think that I've heard of that before, where
I like Soccer Man says, dare you to look up her toenails.
I'll do it. Okay, world's longest toenails.
Yeah, we're showing some nasty stuff tonight. We're losing viewers as we do this. We're not talking magic. We're just having fun tonight.
These are okay.
Yeah, you can't put shoes on. No such thing as shoes.
Now, the thing is that, I mean, I don't think that many people are going for this world record, trying to grab. Oh my God.
No.
Not a lot of people are trying to go for this record. Now, okay. So this woman.
It's the same lady.
It's the same lady.
Yeah.
I was expecting longer toenails, but I guess toenails don't grow as long as don't grow as fast as fingernails, I'm assuming.
Maybe, I don't know. But, I mean, it's just harder to put on shoes and stuff, right?
Yeah, forced. What shoes are you putting on with those?
Yeah, that's so gross.
Slowly like a penguin on her heels and climbs.
I'm going to just look at the camera so I don't have to look at the photo because it's so nasty.
That's so gross, bruh.
At least she paints them, because when that was not painted, that looked real barfy.
Yeah, this is when they're painted.
Still, look, it's touching the ground. It's literally touching the ground, and she's got shoes on.
Lindsay says fiction. All cats are allergic to people. I say fact because some. I mean,
Nathan says fact. Tigger T says I've heard about dogs, so I say fact.
Soccer man, what you doing saying ew when you're the one who dared us to do
Yeah.
it?
Garvin says, this is great tonight. I'm sorry I have to leave soon. Going to enjoy the VOD tomorrow, I'm sure. Oh, the video. Okay.
The video.
Yeah.
Video on demand.
Yeah.
I guess no one here. Well, yeah. Thanks so much, Garvin. I guess no one here has a foot fetish. LOL, or at least
That's the nail one. Yeah, that's.
I think that could cure someone's foot fetish. Was looking at photos.
That would destroy it for sure. He says it was a joke. So, are some cats allergic to people? We had a bunch of people say fact. Some people said fiction. Said all cats are allergic to people. It is true. Some cats are allergic to people. It says FYI for all you people allergic to cats, they might be allergic to you. That's pretty uncommon due to the fact that we bathe ourselves, but more often than other species, and don't shed hair or dead skin. But yes, it does happen. So we don't shed as much as a animal, but they can be allergic to us, which is interesting. I've never seen a cat be allergic to a human or a dog, but some Tigger T says dogs can be as well.
Yeah, like what is it? The cat just like violently sneezes every time they're around people.
It's like there's a good there. That's going to be a Says player meme.
Yeah, they start reading your bulldogs.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're supposed to start copying down. I talked to X this week, and we're supposed to start copying down minutes of when something really interesting on the podcast happens that we could turn into little shorts. So we're 36 minutes in, so we just got to rewatch the first 36 minutes. So from now,
that's what we have the timeline for. That's what we have.
He's saying if it's like really like something really good, like spot it right on.
All right.
Don't worry. I got us.
All right, we're gonna have us looking at toenails as the.
I got us from now. Oh yeah, toenail looking. That's about. No, I'm not gonna put anything yet. Nothing yet. No meme worthy stuff yet. Okay.
I've got a prediction for you. All right.
Okay.
Albert Einstein was known by his contemporary scientists as a flagrant plagiarist.
Albert, what do you think? I'm going to say that most people were jealous back then. So that is true.
Let's see what everybody says. Was Albert Einstein, did he plagiarize all of his work?
Let's see.
Was Albert Einstein really a genius or a thief?
Oh, Tigger T says, you guys mentioned that you want to time lapse your old videos too. Yes, that would be at least the all access magic ones.
Yeah. So not time lapse, but timeline. So basically,
time lapse. Sorry, right now.
If you check out the previous descriptions of like our episode with Takumi, then you can see a whole timeline in the description of all of the different moments that happen, all of the interesting things. All right. So
now I think
Einstein for me.
I think that Einstein's friends thought he was brilliant. He hung out with a lot of other scientists that thought he was brilliant. But I think there had to be some people that said that everything was plagiarized. I think there has to be. I think that happens with anything. Like, look at Harry Potter. If you look at the Harry Potter books, people will say they're plagiarized and they're ripped off from other books. Right? Those people are jealous that they didn't make billions of dollars. So I think that's got to be fiction or fact.
All right. We've got fiction from Tigger. We've got people saying, don't ruin Einstein for me. Do you want to know?
Let's hear it.
It is true. It is.
I knew it.
But not just that his contemporaries believed him to be a plagiarist. It is that he actually, in I think in 1898, he published something that he said came to him in a dream, and then was accused of plagiarizing a scientist. I think it was Dr. Hilbert that came before him that had published the exact same work. And then he admitted to plagiarizing it in 1902. Not only did Einstein take credit for a bunch of people's work. He admitted that he stole it and was known to be a fraud by many people. Not to say that he wasn't a brilliant guy, but the majority of all of his work were things that he took from other people and simply just combined together and published.
Made it better. You know, that's how a lot of stuff happens.
Google it. If you guys Google it,
Okay. Every energy drink came from a different energy drink that someone said I could just make better. So Einstein just took their stuff and made it better.
Yeah, but he like copy pasted or whatever.
Yeah,
back then.
I did that a lot in university and I made it through. So joking.
But no, I do think that Einstein probably did come up with new things himself, and also very well read. Clearly, he read a lot of the work that came before him.
Yeah,
and put it together, and also presented it in a way that made more sense. And also, we're like magicians and talking about this, where there's like rampant plagiarism in the magic.
Everything is plagiarized
all the time. So
I actually want to get an Einstein tattoo. I'm thinking about getting it like a half sleeve with some like mentalism stuff. And I talk about Einstein in my show. That's why I have the little Einstein up on the shelf. And so I thought about getting an Einstein like a portrait. Yeah. So maybe I'll put a portrait of him and then be like Faker or something.
Just fraud.
Yeah.
Like put a question mark at the end. Fraud question mark?
But
like
there are some incredible, like I looked up tattoos of Einstein. There are some incredible tattoos of him.
Really? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And actually the funny thing is that he said he plagiarized in 1902. We also know something else that was written in 1902.
Was that Expert at the Card Table?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe Einstein.
Erdenstein,
just putting it out there, folks.
Did you know Edison didn't make the light bulb? Yeah, they were definitely. I mean, Tesla was before him, right? When I imagine somebody was before Tesla.
There's lots of people. Back then, though, everything got plagiarized or ripped off because people didn't have ways of communicating. Like if something was invented here and it was invented, halfway across the globe, there was no way of knowing.
That was the other thing also, was that a lot of the work that he apparently took was from scientists that were from Germany or other places in Europe, and he brought it to America and presented it in English. And so it's like people just accepted like he created this. And I'm sure that he probably did invent a lot of things. And I also have no intention of going back and reading any of the other work. So let's say Einstein's still brilliant, but just a thief.
Just a thief a little bit. All right, here's the next one. And then I think we should do 20 questions.
Yes.
Get back a little bit into the magic stream. But apple pie isn't actually American at all. It was created in France.
Apple pie isn't American at all. It was created in France. I would believe that just because France is such an older country.
False or fiction?
I would say false or fiction? Both.
False or fiction? Truth, fact or fiction? I'm tired. Today's a weird day. Fact or fiction? So you're saying fact.
I would say fact.
Tigger T says fiction. If you think it's fiction, or you think, because obviously you think it's fact, if you think it's fiction, if you think it's fiction, tell us where you think it's from.
Oh, wait, that's the thing, is I believe that it's not American, but I don't know if it came from France. Oh.
That was the question. You already said fact.
Oh, I already locked in
fact. I mean, France is a big pastry place.
France is a big pastry place, but I mean, I don't know, man.
We got a fact and a fiction, and you said fact. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? Did Lindsay leave us? I think, or Kayla, sorry, not Kayla, Lindsay. Lindsay's here.
Dawn said they're going to go with me. Okay, so yeah.
Lindsay says fiction, Germany.
I was thinking Germany as well, but I'm already locked into fact, so we'll just go with it.
All right. It says, The next time you call something as American as apple pie, you might want to consider the fact that neither apple pies nor apples originally came from America. Apples are, in fact, native to Asia, and the first recorded recipe for apple pie was actually written in England. So it is as English as apple pie.
Wow. I would have thought that there would have been a recipe for it that was from Asia.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Nathan looked it up for sure. Because Nathan, you said fact first and then changed to fiction and said it's made in England.
What are you doing there? You're trying
to. Nathan, are you sitting in the cottage cheating right now?
Nathan, wow.
Let's be honest, Nathan.
Raising lies and
Caught you. Justin, come on. You got to make sure he stays
okay,
sharp.
I've got a magic fact or fiction. All right. So, fact or fiction, Houdini died after a failed attempt at a water torture escape.
I know this answer.
Yeah, you know this answer. So
yeah,
we gotta ask the chat first before you reveal your answer.
And then I'll have a follow-up to your question. Depending on what the chat says. So I think that's a great question. Cheating on a game with no consequences.
Lindsay, yeah, what are you doing in school, Nathan, when it really counts?
I said fact because I knew it wasn't made in the US. Oh, but you didn't listen to the full question then.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I didn't listen to the full question either. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
I like how Lindsay's just been saying R. Paul Wilson did it first for everything.
Yeah.
Also said that R. Paul Wilson came up with E equals MC squared and called out Einstein Cafe.
Oh, this is interesting. Tigger T says, I feel like this is a trick question.
Oh. Fact or fiction, Houdini.
Fact or fiction.
After a failed attempt at a water torture escape. Not necessarily during, but after.
Oh, Don doesn't know about this one. Tigger says true.
True. Lindsay says fact.
A couple facts. Nathan, Justin, what are you guys thinking?
Well, Nathan's just gonna Google it, so he's solving his Rubik's Cube in one hand and Googling with the other.
It's true. Oh yeah, I forgot you met Nathan. You beat me at the Rubik's Cube, yeah.
Yeah, he did beat me.
He got a tummy ache from the misplaced fist
bump. Misplaced fist bump.
That's great.
So the answer is fiction.
I was gonna say my follow-up question was gonna be because a lot of people always thought. I mean, I heard it when I was a kid that Houdini died doing Buried Alive.
Really?
Yeah, I remember hearing that as a kid, but that's totally not true either.
Yes, that's not true either. So, and there's also a misconception about the answer that people give. What Says Blaira said is also incorrect. So, the biggest misconception, if you Google how did Houdini, or if you Google magician died failed illusion, things will pop up about Harry Houdini. It is the biggest misconception in magic. He didn't fail during one of his escapes. No. The thing is, he used to challenge people before and after shows. He would challenge anyone, any big man, strong guy or whatever, to come up and punch him in the stomach, and he would, tighten his abs and be fine and be unscathed. And then there was a guy. Some college students, really?
Yeah.
There were some college students who then took that challenge, and instead of after his show, when he was prepared, punching him in the stomach, instead went into his dressing room and surprised him, and then sucker punched him in the stomach when he was unprepared and injured him. However, there's also a misconception about that because people believe that punch is what caused internal bleeding and killed him. But
it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah. So you know the answer?
Yeah. This is appendix.
Yeah. He had a ruptured appendix, and because he got hit in the stomach, he thought the pain in his stomach was because of that punch. But
really, appendix was slowly leaking out.
Yeah, he was dealing with appendicitis. His appendix burst, and he died because of that. And so there's so many misconceptions. Everybody will say, oh no, he didn't die because of an illusion. He died because he got punched in the stomach. But that wasn't even true either. So it's 2 misconceptions for the price of 1.
Boom. Here's a question.
Yes.
Fact or fiction, Houdini died in Canada.
Oh. I don't know where he died. So it was some Canadian college student that punched him in the stomach?
I'm just asking the question. Fact
Fiction.
or fiction?
Fiction. America first.
Nathan said our question was worded weird. Well, you said it could have been after, and that could have been ever after. They're saying it could have been any time after.
Anytime after. True. I guess it was a weirdly worded question.
But if you failed a water torture escape, you'd probably be dead on the spot.
Yeah.
Because you would have drowned.
Yeah. True.
So it would have had to been immediately after, like drowning.
Yeah, immediately after.
So I mean, that's I'm gonna say it, as much as it may have been worded incorrectly, is still worded more correctly than the answers that are given below.
Yeah.
So fact or fiction, Houdini died in Canada.
Well, I feel like the only reason you'd be saying it is if it's a fact, but I don't know. I feel like he might
maybe saying it because I'm Canadian.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it?
We didn't get any. Tigger T says fiction for that.
Fiction? I say fiction. He died in America.
No other comments from viewers? People are Google searching right now, trying to read through. Nathan says fact. Interesting. All right. Well, it is 100% fact. Houdini was punched in Montreal while traveling to a show in Toronto, I believe, actually. So out my way, and died in the hospital.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was like, "There's the only way you'd be bringing this up is if it actually was true."
I know some weird Houdini. I've read through some Houdini biographies and stuff. He had a crazy life.
Mm.
He was a spy and stuff. Like,
it's crazy.
Houdini lived a life that was pretty nuts. So
I was thinking my conspiracy would be Houdini. If we did conspiracy theories, I was thinking my conspiracy theory would be Houdini was an awful magician.
King of cards, man. King of cards.
The king of cards. No, awful magician. An incredible escape artist.
Magician. Should we tell the viewers what we're planning on doing in the next little while? Well, I'll tell them about do you want me to tell them about the story from the ship?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, well,
all right.
I mean, the thing is, stuff is so up in the air, but if we can make this happen, yes. Like, this
will happen. It may not be right, like, it won't be tomorrow, but it'll be.
I was also thinking we could set this as a Patreon goal, because we would have to spend a good deal of money in order to make this happen, but it would be
that's true. That is true. Well, we only need to spend travel, I think, to get there.
Travel, yeah.
And then, travel expenses is a big one. I don't know if there's a cost to get in there or not.
I'm not sure. Huh. Well, I was thinking we would take a class.
We got to take the median class. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this past week I was on the cruise ship, performing on the beautiful Celebrity Apex cruise ship. So I performed. We set sail on the Monday, and I performed on the Wednesday. And after performing, I think it was on Thursday, I was in the dining room area, and a gentleman and his wife came up to me, and were praising the show and how crazy I was and stuff, and said, "Have you ever heard of Lilydale?" And I instantly lit up, because myself and Blaze found out about Lilydale when we did an interview with the Evasons. And Lilydale.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, on Magic After Dark.
Yeah. Go back. It's on the Lost Art Magic YouTube page, so not on the Xavier Spade one. But if you go back to Lost Art Magic, you'll be able to see that one. And it was a hilarious episode. It was our longest episode ever, though, at 4 hours and 15 minutes. And this gentleman, I said, yeah, I've definitely heard of Lilydale. I want to go. Me and my friend who does podcasts with me, we've talked to some people about it and stuff, and so we want to go. So this gentleman was super, super kind and said that he has a big lodge right outside of Lilydale, and said that that he would offer to give me the place. He said usually he would Airbnb it out and stuff, but because he liked my show so much, that he would offer to give it to me to go to Lilydale with Blaze. And
about what Lilydale is.
Yeah. So Lilydale. Oh, go ahead. You tell them.
So Lilydale, as we found out from the Evisons, is a community. It is basically like a town near Buffalo, New York, that is inhabited entirely by crocodiles. No, it's inhabited entirely by psychics. It's entirely psychics and mediums.
Yeah.
Right? So all of the people that live there claim to have psychic abilities. And now, us being mentalists, people that perform mentalism, we know a lot of the methods that are necessary in order to achieve things that come off as psychic. And especially, we talked with the Evisons. It was interesting because they get booked to perform at Lilydale alongside a bunch of mediums. And the mediums are conversing with people's spirits, supposedly, like their dead relatives. And then the Evisons are going in there doing a second sight act and reading minds and doing feats that are crazier, and more entertaining than what the mediums do. But they admit that what they're doing is a skill and is not actually psychic. Yet all of the people that live in this town claim that what they're doing is actually psychic. And they also, when we looked up their website for Lilydale on the show, we saw that they offer classes for how to become a medium. And so Ryan and I were like, it would be so cool to go and interview psychics and do mentalism there, and also take a class for how to become a medium.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be insane. So we want to do it next year, obviously, because we're already in basically 2022 in a couple days. So in 2022, we want to make this a reality. We want to go to Lilydale and shoot an episode from Lilydale, but then also shoot a bunch of content doing mentalism for psychics. And the funny thing is, I've actually done mentalism for psychics.
Really?
There is a really famous Canadian psychic, and one of my friends married into that family, and so invited me to do her like retirement party or 60th birthday or something like that years ago. And I went, and I remember doing a trick where I had an envelope, and I was like, okay, at the end of this trick, what is inside this envelope will be exactly what you're thinking. And it was an easy trick, but a really great trick. And in the end, I pull her card out that she was thinking of out of the envelope, and I go, but you knew that. You're a psychic. Like, how did you not know what was in the envelope already? And like totally just started kind of ripping at her the rest of the time. Every time I did something, I'd be like, I'm just going to set this right here. But you already know what's inside. So, I mean, it's not really fun for me to perform for you, but we'll try this anyways. And she was freaking out, was totally losing it over my stuff. So that's what I'm most excited for.
A psychic one time, and I didn't know that they were psychic while I was performing. Afterwards, they told me that they were psychic, and they were freaking out during the performance, and then afterwards wanted to talk with me because they felt like what we did was similar, and then started doing a cold read on me. And the thing is that, like, the stuff it was very generic and wasn't very accurate necessarily. And so I was like, I guess. And I wasn't feeding in, giving more personal information about myself that they normally get from people that they would like strike a chord with. And so she was just like, I feel like you're very closed off. You're just not very open-minded. And I was like, I think I'm open-minded. I just like, I don't. What you're saying doesn't really have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
Um,
Don says, wait, you guys are mentalists. I thought you just did sleight of hand and card magic and stuff. So my whole show is everything I do is mentalism. I do card magic and stuff still. I release decks of cards and still do sleight of hand, but I make a living off doing mentalism shows.
Yeah, so Ryan is much more. He brands himself as a mentalist and does a mind reading, and that is his whole thing. I do mentalism in my show, but my show's called Through a Magician's Eyes, and it's about giving the audience the experience of being able to do magic. So I do moments in my show like bringing people up on stage and giving them the ability to read each other's minds, and I'm kind of just the one facilitating it. I'm not necessarily like taking credit for like, oh, I can read your mind. I do that a little bit. But yeah, Ryan is like very much he can read your mind, and he could absolutely convince psychics that he's psychic.
Mentalism does it. I got asked so many times on the cruise ship this week if I was psychic. Even when I say in the show that I'm not, right at the start of the show, I do a disclaimer that I'm not. This is entertainment and this all this. So many times this past week, I was stopped and people were like, yeah, but you were born with something, right? Like what gift are you tapping into and stuff? And I was like, the gift of magic,
Yeah.
No, I always just explain that it's all of these things, psychology and math and science and magic and everything combined into what looks like mentalism, which is true. So, I mean, it's more magic than anything else, but there is a lot of mathematics and stuff that we use to pull off different sleights and stuff or different routines. So
absolutely. Yeah. And I just realized while we were talking about it that a lot of the material that I do would just convince these psychics that they're definitely psychic.
Oh yeah.
Like I do a lot of stuff with making people feel like they are able to have perfect intuition, where like my opener even is like, I'm mixing the cards and I'm like, do you have pretty good intuition? Would you say you get a good vibe?
That would be hilarious.
Your intuition. Which one would you guess is on top of the deck right now? And then they always guess it right. I just realized.
What if I just freak out over that stuff? I'm like, no. Like,
people that they're just like, now they're even more shut-eye than they were before because they just totally believe that they have full-on powers.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring like a slew of mentalism stuff, and like I'm gonna set you up with some stuff to help me even make it crazier. Because I got some 2-person stuff that's like nuts. And just be like next level. These people aren't gonna be able to handle themselves. So we thought about that. That was one thing. And then we thought, wouldn't it be fun to shoot some other episodes? If possible, like if the podcast, if we can keep growing and stuff, to do some other episodes where we're going and doing magic and stuff with other conspiracy theories and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Bigfoot. Like there are so many things in the States about like Bigfoot sightings and stuff, and whether we could pull some magic off to these people to make them think even more that this is a possibility.
Real, like to make people think that they just saw Bigfoot. Or just to make people believe that they saw a UFO or other things like that. Like we could totally make people buy into conspiracy theories a little bit.
I'm thinking like even at Lilydale using like not prevision. What's the other one? That Pro Mystic product.
I mean, yeah, Prevision isn't Pro Mystic, right?
But no, Prevision is another thing. It's an app, but I'm thinking of it was in my head, and then I said Prevision, and now it's gone.
Are you thinking Inception?
Inception. Thank you.
Doing Inception on people. Oh my God.
Inception at Lilydale.
On people at Lilydale would be the craziest thing ever, because these psychics for the first time in their lives would actually hear the voice of spirits.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we set something up that was so crazy? Like, we could set it up where you're doing a card trick where you show the top card is not that card, right?
Yeah.
And then I put my hand on their head. They hear what the top card is. And then you do it again, do your one arm bandit, and boom, now it is the top card. Like if we showed a bunch of psychics and said, look, it is not the top card. Let's see if this person has Inception. And then do it.
Just if
And then
they
it changes.
I mean, that would be the thing is
It'd be like superpowers.
I'm just worried, like, will we survive this trip? Like, are we gonna get a bunch of psychics really, really mad at us? I mean, I guess it's worth the risk. We got to see what happens.
I think that's the cool thing about it. We also talked tonight about learning how to count cards. I watched a movie on it yesterday and I thought it was really fascinating. And I thought my brain is really fast at math. Like I'm very quick with like just adding and multiplying and stuff really fast. And so I think that I'm going to start to try to learn how to count cards.
That would be really fun.
And then shoot an episode where we're doing it at a casino or something, or playing blackjack with a bunch of people.
Yeah, we could absolutely, do these. And so, yes, if you'd like us to do more in real life episodes, any funds that we get from the Patreon directly go to us just trying to make this show better and to be able to do crazier things like that, like actually doing more in real life episodes, going to fun locations and shooting content that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. So if you'd like to, we'd really appreciate if you support the Patreon. Then you can see us go to Lilydale. You can see us go to casinos and count cards and get kicked out of casinos over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the cool thing is like for people that are watching right now, like that have been a member of the Patreon, like what you have paid in so far, we are just putting in savings to create new content and better stuff. So we're not taking it and going, it's literally sitting here so that we can do things like this.
In the account, like we haven't spent any of it.
None of it yet, because we want to put it towards things that are like crazy. We want to make this the most epic magic podcast on the internet. So
now Jason said cards is easy. Memorizing basic strategy is the challenge.
Oh, I'm actually really good at Blackjack Strategy. I already know. I played Blackjack a lot back in the day, so I do know it pretty well. But it's doing it very fast, the counting, like, because you've got to divide it and stuff. Like you've got to count all the cards and then divide it by the number of decks left and stuff like that. So that's where it gets complicated, doing it really fast and making sure that you're on the number as well. So, but you're right. Counting cards, like if you're just just thinking about which cards are laid out, it's not that hard. But it depends on if you're playing like 4-deck blackjack or 1-deck blackjack. If you're playing 1 deck, then yeah, it's super easy. So.
I mean, then it's beyond easy because you know exactly what's left.
Yeah. So, but like I said, we want to do some live. We're both planning on going to Magic Live and shooting an episode live there. We talked about even doing a 24-hour episode there with a bunch of magicians coming on all day, all night, going in the dealer's room and shooting some stuff in there, so you guys see what the newest and craziest products are on the market.
So that'll be great. So look out for this upcoming weekly pattern episode so you can see our merch drop and the Patreon exclusive merch, the Magic After Dark merch, the lasagna merch, All Access Magic logo merch, and then we're gonna just keep trying to do more in real life episodes and content like that to really up the just the stakes of the craziness, because really I think that's something that nobody's done, is go and shoot content in Lilydale and take a course to become a medium. Like,
that's
I'm so curious about that. Like how I've got the Insta 360 camera that's like super tiny.
I gotta buy one of those this week. Send me the link for that. I'm gonna buy one this week.
It's like we just have this tiny camera discreet while we're learning to become a medium. Like, the thing is, if you're already a skeptic and then you find out that they offer courses to become a medium, how do you not become even more skeptical? That was our immediate reaction, was like, how
100%. I'm interested because obviously doing mentalism stuff, this would be pretty crazy. But Don says, has anyone tried Spidey's ABC yet? Yeah, we did a whole review on it. We both used it a ton. I don't have one here because I took it on the cruise ship with me.
With Spidey, or our Behind the Gimmicks episode, then you can check it out. Review of ABC.
Absolutely awesome trick.
we actually were the people to launch ABC. We were the first place that it was on sale.
Yeah.
ABC is amazing. Also, ABC is constantly getting better and better and better. Because
I just saw on the Facebook group now.
Did you see the new video that came out today?
That's no, I haven't today.
It's a great routine. It's really killer. Like, I'm gonna start using that one. So
I'll have to check that out.
So new routines are constantly coming out for ABC. Tigger T said, wasn't the first mentalist trained as a medium? I imagine so, because if you think about, I was actually looking into responding to somebody in the ABC Facebook group. I was responding to someone, and I was looking for some history about a glimpse that was Marlowe's. And while I was looking into it, in the Conjuring archive, there was some stuff that popped up from the discovery of witchcraft from the 1500s, like that old book. And they were talking about glimpses and peaks and, ways that you could use mentalism methods. But it was in the context of like, these are people who actually claim to be witches and have actual magic powers and using these methods. So absolutely. Yeah, I would totally believe that.
TRC says, what is the Facebook group called? It's ABC.
I know what it's called. You have to be invited to it, and you have to prove that you own an ABC in order to join. It has a clever name, though. It's called AB Secrets. And
Nathan, yours should be here any day. I'm surprised it's not already, but I'll probably have it by Sunday for you, I would imagine. So, all right. Are you ready for 20 questions?
Yes, I am.
You want to bring up 2 minutes on the clock, and you go first. I'll ask the questions, and then.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It's time for 20 questions. It's time for 20 questions. Yeah, it's time for 20 questions. It's time for 20 questions. Yeah, put 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes on the clock. Put 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes on the clock. Here we go.
Like Lindsay said, Einstein said he invented glimpses.
Invented glimpses. No, it was R. Paul Wilson.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Are you ready, sir?
Okay, so it's me first?
Yeah. How many do you think you can get through? That's the question first. What's your bet?
No, the thing is, we always rag on people for not being able to get through a lot, but I've never thought about my own answers for these questions. So
No, me neither.
I have no idea. I think that I could get through all 20,
Lindsay says your bumper still says Magic After Dark. I know we have to change that this week. I was away all last week and we noticed it, and so I will be changing it this week. We're also going to have some new songs added into the next episode and stuff like that. So it's coming.
Ready?
It's coming. Yes.
Okay. And go.
Dream vacation destination.
Hawaii.
Biggest pet peeve.
When people say Chipotle instead of Chipotle.
Biggest mistake during a performance.
I said that the name of my routine was One Armed Bandit, and then I called up a one-armed man to help me.
Oh, I remember that. What always makes you laugh?
Always makes me laugh. John Mulaney.
Secret talent.
Secret talent. I'm good at cooking.
First time you ever saw a magic trick.
Chris Angel on TV.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Dream performance venue.
Madison Square Garden.
Most cherished memory.
Most cherished memory. Wow, this is a much harder question than I thought. I don't know. Most cherished memory. Jeez. Spending Christmas with my family.
Favorite food.
Hibachi.
Favorite movie.
Scent of a Woman.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Working behind the scenes on a tour.
Favorite magician.
Aussie Wind.
If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy?
I would fund my magic music video projects.
What's your most highly recommended magic product or book?
A double agent.
If you could remake one movie and star in it, what would it be?
Oh, jeez. Nightmare Alley.
Feel like a potato or look like a potato?
Feel like a potato.
And you're done. If you had one wish. Oh, wow, that's really loud in my ear. Wow. You were on, if you had one wish, what would you wish for?
Oh, if I had one wish, what would I wish for? I would wish for people to stop being jerks.
Favorite toy growing up?
Miyachi.
What?
Miyachi, the original hand sack, bro. They're hacky sacks for the back of your hand, so you can do like a bunch of tricks with them, like the 360, or the Wolverine, or the 720, or shit.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't with the Miyachi; it was with a deck of cards, so that was the issue. I can bring my Miyachis out.
Lahu Hezer. Favorite sports team? That was the last question.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Nice. Is that true, or you just picked one
true.
because you knew one?
Yeah, but the thing is, I liked the 2010 Eagles, and the thing is, it's a controversial opinion because I liked the Philadelphia Eagles when Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy were all on the team, and Mike Vick was my favorite football player, who is also not the best person, not the role model. I remember I wore a Mike Vick jersey to school one year in 7th grade, and my Spanish teacher got so mad at me. She was like, "I'm a PETA member. Get out of my classroom." And I was like, "What?"
That's amazing.
Okay. All right, you ready?
All right, yeah. I'm going to kill this.
All right. Well, yeah, you had this whole time to think about your answers. Now, okay,
no, I mean, I didn't really.
Okay, ready? And 3, 2, 1. Dream vacation destination.
Fiji.
Biggest pet peeve.
People chewing with their mouth open.
Biggest mistake during a performance.
I told a kid that I would not spike my hand and hit the bag, and the spike came out the side of the bag.
What always makes you laugh?
My wife.
Secret talent.
I played in a band.
First time you ever saw a magic trick?
When I was a kid watching Copperfield on TV.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
To hear what people are thinking.
Dream performance venue.
Las Vegas.
Most cherished memory.
Beside my dad when he passed away.
Favorite food.
Steak.
Favorite movie.
Truman Show.
What's the worst job you ever had?
UPS.
Who's your favorite magician?
Teller. Darren Brown.
If you won the lottery, what's the first thing that you'd buy?
Multiple houses, rental properties.
What's your most highly recommended magic product or book?
Royal Road to Card Magic was the first one I read.
If you could remake any movie and star in it, what would it be?
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Would you rather feel like a potato or look like a potato?
Look like one.
If you had one wish, what would you wish for?
World peace.
Favorite toy growing up?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Favorite sports team?
Easy. Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow, made it through all of them. Crushed it.
Philip Goldstein says, Darren Brown, how dare you?
Dare you?
Sorry, Philip.
Now,
Darren Brown, by far.
Yeah, I realized that my dream vacation destination isn't Hawaii. I've already been there, and I don't. It's like, all right, it's fine. dream vacation destination would definitely be something like Japan or. No. Actually, my number one, if I could only go to one place, that was the guy who wants to be a millionaire. If I could only go to one place out of all of them, then my dream vacation destination would be La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain.
Nice.
A cathedral.
Where they do the running. Oh, I thought that's where they did the running with the bulls.
No, so La Sagrada Familia is a cathedral that was designed by Antonio Gaudí in the 1800s. They began constructing it in the 1800s. It is still not finished. They were planning for it to be finished in 2026, and COVID has held it back. It is some of the most outstanding, miraculous architecture in the entire world. I'm going to go to a photo so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about.
TNG says, I thought I was the one that always makes you laugh.
Look at this.
Oh, wow. That is insane.
This is unfinished. You know, you can see scaffolding there. This is facades. And if you zoom in, all of these little, oh, it won't let me zoom in properly. All of these little sections that look like they're just, you know, parts of the facade are actually like little scenes. Like there's all scenes from the Bible and stuff in there. Like
Crazy.
These are all, it's absolutely insane. All of these little parts, like where my mouse is, are all little scenes from the Bible and characters. It's basically Jesus's whole life in this facade, and they have like the nativity spiral. Dude, if I could go to one place, inside is crazy too. So if I could go to it would be to attend mass at La Sagrada Familia.
Crazy. I like Matthew said, did the spike go through your hand? No, I was doing a version that's super safe, but should I just tell the secret? Can I tell it?
Whatever you want to do.
It has multiple spikes. And so I was safe, 100% safe. But when I slammed my hand, I said to this kid was really nervous in the audience, and he shouldn't have been at the show anyways. It's like a 10:30 show. And this kid was like, like quivering away. And I said, oh, don't worry, kid. I've done this trick, this routine like 100 times. I've never failed. And then I hit the bag. And when I hit the bag, the spike shot out the side of the bag. And I was like, oh, well, thank goodness. And I tried to get it away really quickly, but someone was like, the spike is right there. And I was like, yeah, shoot, I just missed it. That's a good thing. I knew it. And there was no recovery from that. That's it. There was no recovery from that. So it was just talking about like.
And then you're trying to cover, and you're just like
that you had.
It's exactly what it was like.
You could do so. You want him to do you so much you could do anything.
Yeah, it was crazy. David Copperfield once made it disappear. That is false. But David Copperfield would also be one of my other favorite magicians. I would say it's between Darren Brown and David Copperfield, which was actually, that was talking about those two. That was the nicest comment I ever got from a magician that came and watched my show. He said, your show is a mix of Darren Brown and David Copperfield.
Wow.
And I said, wow. It was for my show Deja Vu, I think, that he saw. And he said, your storytelling in it reminds me of David Copperfield, but your tricks remind me of Darren Brown.
Wow. And your opening line was so great when you said, have you ever
had a dream that...
That's exactly how I opened Deja Vu. Have you ever had a dream?
Have you ever had a dream that
you could do any thing
and then you smash the spike comes out the bag, and you're like, we still gotta find the spike, and the kid's like,
determined that was a lie.
It is right there.
It is right there.
Rivu says, what was the routine? Nailed it or pain game are pretty safe. I don't do that routine anymore, so I don't actually know what the name of it was. But it was an old version. It was safe, 100% safe. It was just stupid version how it worked. And the possibility, it only happened once where the spike popped out, but it just happened to be when I told a kid, like, oh, don't worry. Like, nothing ever goes wrong. So,
hey, I'm Soccer Man. The dude that made the carvings in the cathedral is one guy that is poor and does it for a living. Interesting. Huh.
Oh, wow.
One dude that's scaling those walls. Like,
yeah, no wonder it's still
like
being built. It's taking a lifetime.
That sounds horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. As soon as you came in front of your mic there, when you set up, it was like, yeah, everything went crazy. It was like, "Whoa."
Oh, like so quiet, like you couldn't hear
Yeah,
me.
yeah, it sounded like you were 25 feet away from your mic.
Well, yeah.
Murphy's Law, that's exactly what it was. Murphy's Law kicked my butt that night.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the show went great, but yeah, I started the show with that night, so that was very odd.
Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong will, or something. What
Yeah,
is
everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
and I think once you start with something wrong, you know, your head isn't in it, and so there's more chance of things go wrong. But I was good. The rest of the show was pretty, you know, I'd done it 1,000 times, so it was pretty simple. But it was just a freak accident that night. So
yeah. And yeah, back to one thing on the 20 questions.
Apparently, neither of you have seen Interstellar.
I have seen
I just,
but I don't
yeah,
get
I think for best movie, I always just liked The Truman Show because I thought it made me think. There's other movies that I would put up there as well that I thought, oh, this is now my favorite movie. But Truman Show was always my go-to answer for that question because I always thought, what if everybody around me was paid? And this whole thing, this world that I'm living in is actually just a TV show for somebody else. Like, I just thought that's so crazy. It's such a great concept.
It is a really cool concept. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino plays a blind man, and his speech at the end is so crazy. It's so intense. It's really well done. But I actually don't necessarily think it's my favorite movie.
Yeah. I
like one more than that. It's just that was what came to mind. I like Mr. Holland's Opus a lot.
That's a great movie.
Parasite a lot.
Yeah.
And
I never watched Parasite. Couldn't get it. Like, yeah, can't get into the reading the whole thing.
Oh, dude, it's so good, man. It's just so good. Like I'd say like to give it a shot, but I can understand that that's like a barrier. Yeah.
Yeah. For me,
on the pet peeves, my pet peeve was 100% accurate. I am totally cool with people having different ways to pronounce something. And
Chipotle.
Oh, Chipotle. I mean, Chipotle is just a joke.
Yeah.
But like I'm totally cool with people having different ways to pronounce things. But when people say a word and it's just them reading it wrong, oh, I can't say it. People say Chipotle, it gets under my skin so bad.
When I was in college, I worked at Subway, and the number of people that can't say Parmesan and oregano is
oregano and Parmesan or something?
Parmesan, yeah. People would come in and be like, I'll take the Parmesan and oregano. And I was like, the Parmesan and oregano bread? Is that like
the thing is, at least, even though they're saying it horrendously wrong, at least they got the letters in the right order. Like,
yeah, but I don't know.
Be like oregano. Like if someone like just reads a word and then just decides to mishmash the letters and say it however they want, that's when I'm just like my mom, every time, like when I used to compete in Rubik's Cube competitions, she would say rubric cube. And I'm like, you just added an extra R. It's not there. You're just saying the wrong word.
Yeah. Rubrics. It's funny. It says off topic, but says that there is one person in the channel, but it looks like there are shows like 9 people. Is that maybe just in Twitch that it says that?
In Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely down on the number of people tonight compared to usual, but we didn't post that we were doing an episode tonight because I just got back and we thought, oh, let's do an episode. Let's have some fun. Oh, he says on Twitch.
On Twitch. I can't see it because on my like stream elements, I'm not technically streaming directly to Twitch. So interesting.
Yeah. I liked Matthew said, have you ever screwed up a grand finale? Have you ever screwed up the grand finale of a trick or like of your show?
I ever screwed up the grand finale? Yes. Recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Recently, I was doing a routine and I had the reveal of someone's name that I knew was coming to the show in an envelope, and there were a bunch of people that were going to come on stage and choose what envelopes they wanted, and like they have a free choice of what they want, and they told me that they were going to be 3 minutes late, and then they were so late that they missed the entire show. And so throughout the show, I'm just waiting. Like throughout the show, I'm having this weird out of body experience where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
You're
there's
trying to look for that person.
yeah. When is this? Like, I'm knowing that the ending is gonna inevitably mess up because this person is in the envelope. So I had met this kid Matt, who I guess had gotten some of my downloads. It was in the audience like right before the show, and then as I'm bringing him up on this, like I go into the audience and I'm looking for my friend that said that they were gonna be there, and I'm like, all right, I guess they're not here. And his name was Travis. And so then I just turned to that kid, Matt, and I just Dunninger, like turn my mic off and I just go, your name's Travis.
Nice. That's awesome.
And so they came up, and then it was so funny because he was like trying to not screw me up. And so I was like, and so I asked like the other people like what their names were. And then I get down to him and I'm just like, oh, hey, man. And before I could even ask him his name, he was just like, I'm Travis.
That's amazing.
So
That's
it
amazing.
ended up working out for the majority of the audience, but
Yeah,
that was a scary moment.
that's funny. Actually, that's a good one. I can't think of myself messing up a finale, to be honest. I know I've got on stage and went, oh crap, like I forgot to set something up beforehand. That always sucks. And then you're doing something on the fly or whatever, right? Trying to set something up. But I can't think of a finale where I've come to the end of the show and just botched it.
Video of me, I forgot my first time at doing Future Stars, my first time performing a week at the Magic Castle. And I have a video, the one show that they recorded, where most of the show went wrong. It's like it was my worst performance of all time. So I have this opener that I no longer really do because I feel like I have stuff that is much more less nerve-wracking that is just as strong for the audience. But I had this opener that I was really excited to do at the Magic Castle where I walk out with a single playing card, no deck. I toss a ball into the audience. People toss it around. Whoever catches it, I ask them to name one card and imagine that they're holding it in their hand. And then whatever card that they're holding, I just turn over or whatever card that they say, I just turn over the one I've been holding from the beginning and it's right. And the method that I had for it during that performance broke at that moment, at that crucial moment. So I suddenly look down and I realize that I'm holding the wrong card in my hand. And I realize, and that's the kind is a routine where I can't see what's happening. I can't see if I have the right card in my hand until the very last moment. So there isn't really much out for it. And I had been practicing it so much that every time I did it, it had gone right. So I hadn't really practiced my out enough, to be honest, before that routine. And I just look down, I see the wrong card in my hand after all this buildup of like, imagine one card. And then I just put it down on the table and I'm like, we'll get back to that later. And then I just bring out a deck of cards and just go in through the show. And that was like the opener. And it's like such a weird thing where it's like, okay, so there was no magic moment for the opener. And then I do this routine. I ribbon spread the deck on the table and I'm talking. And then I just, as I collect the deck, I just grab that card off the table and bring it back and never get back to it.
That's amazing. I remember I did something like that where I had a prediction written and it was totally wrong because the person did not follow instructions right. And they were purposely trying to screw it up. And it was for this guy, and he was having a birthday or something. But I was like, it was an event I didn't want to do that I did to cover for a friend. And a friend called me after the show and said, "How was the show?" And I said, "Oh, it was okay. They were a little brutal. Like, shouldn't have really done the show." And they were like. He's like, "Oh, I know. I was sitting at home laughing, watching TV the whole time you were doing that, knowing." Like, he said he had another gig. he just didn't want to do the gig, and he was like, I'll let Ryan do this. And so I did the gig, and I mean, they were still happy with the show that I did, but I remember saying, like, I have this prediction here and stuff, I'll just put it here or whatever. And then I was like, as we were going, I was like, but I'll give this to you after the show. I'll meet you over there and give this to you because I want it to be a special moment between us or something like that. And then I finished the show and just beelined out of there and never gave it to them.
Just never gave it to. Yeah, dude.
So,
That's
yeah.
that sucks when you have people that are intentionally like just trying to mess it up. Where it's like,
Yeah.
my prediction can't be what you wrote down because you wrote down something entirely unrelated to even the topic of what.
Yeah, and that's what it was. The person was literally trying to wreck the trick, and so I just said, "Oh, I'll give it to you after," and then just took. I was like, "I'm not giving it to them." Hey, gents, what do you guys think magic will look like in the metaverse?
Well,
I hope that it's never a thing. That's it. I saw a thing about it yesterday, and I was like, "This is stupid."
Yeah, I mean, so I remember that that there was a show that was done last year that was entirely in VR where they built a virtual theater space and everyone that was there all had VR headsets on and all the magicians tried to perform. But the thing is that it was kind of more like this is just a fun experience of like, oh, we're going to look behind the scenes and see that like we're going to make this woman disappear. And there's like a whole trapdoor mechanism that we built into this VR space. But it's like, there's no genuine nature to the magic there, you know, because anything could be faked in a virtual space. So I think that I imagine magic in the metaverse. This is what I think it would look like is I think that Matterport technology right now is allowing people to scan places into 3D space. Like a lot of real estate agents are using Matterport cameras to basically 3D scan a whole home. That way someone can, if they're in, you know, Massachusetts, but they want to buy a place in Florida, they can put on their Oculus, they can walk through the home that's in Florida. I think that technology would allow you to like scan an actual theater or to scan a home and invite your friends over to that home. But I think you would have to have a physical camera set up and basically just do a virtual show. So I think that virtual shows where you have an actual camera that's not VR are probably the closest thing that we'll have to, you know, magic in the metaverse.
I would agree with that. I think virtual shows are here to stay. I think, you know, we're constantly pushing into virtual shows, especially now. I think they'll just become a thing that people will ask for. Even when COVID is all done and we can do live shows, I think people will still find them valuable for work meetings and stuff. But yeah. I think with the metaverse, I don't think you're going to want to have an animation of someone doing magic.
No, definitely not.
So, there's a couple other questions that came in. Oh, actually, it was funny because Dawn said that I was basically her twin. Dawn said the Truman Show literally changed my life. So that's interesting. Dawn, I'd love to hear about that.
In the movie, and now I'm a little bit scared.
You've never seen the movie?
I haven't seen the movie. No, I feel like it's gonna. Bro, you know me. You know that I've not seen most movies.
Yeah, another great movie, Man on the Moon, another Jim Carrey movie.
I've seen. I don't know. I saw the documentary about the making of that one. Where
fantastic movie. And that's kind of where I would like to go almost with the podcast if we start doing like going to Lilydale and stuff, where he becomes like all these different characters and stuff. Like obviously not to the extreme that he does, but like, you know, maybe going to Lilydale, I wouldn't be Ryan Edwards. I would be somebody else. And, you know, like create this new person for the event.
Like we make fake IDs and everything so we can get into places as these other names so that people don't associate it with us and trace it back to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a name for us, comment what you think our name should be.
Your name will be Edward Ryans.
Edward Ryans.
Be Thays Blair.
That's it. I'll be Says Clara. That would be hilarious.
Name's so
Yeah,
common, like John.
John Doe, for sure. I'm John Doe.
John Doe. I'm John Doe. They're like,
That would be great. But old Andy Kaufman videos are incredible. Yeah, Andy Kaufman he's the man. Like, so good. So good. So that's where I would like to go in those terms of like going to Lilydale and just being like an Andy Kaufman.
Well, the thing is that in that documentary, though, like Jim Carrey, it's like you're doing a great job acting, but also he was kind of getting a little bit shut-eye about the character, where he started kind of being a bit of a jerk to people and like
Oh yeah, well, because he literally
Andy Kaufman to the daughter or whatever, and it's like this is just kind of messed up, dude. Like, you're not
like when he was playing that role, like he got so into it. Like I remember hearing about Jared Leto when he became the Joker. Was he was trying to embody the Joker so much that he was sending the other cast members like gifts, but like dead bats and stuff.
An asshole, dude. Like,
yeah, I think they're like to do that though, like to get into. I mean, come on, Blaze. I saw your movie. You did not do that. No, I'm sure.
I also wasn't trying to play a character that existed.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, yeah, but, and that was really what the movie needed, was for me to be method acting it more.
That's it. But I think it is a cool thing, like when they believe so much so that they are that, like when they really embody that person, right? That where it's like, when do you separate it? Like every time he was on set, he was Andy Kaufman. Like when he's getting pushed in the wheelchair and stuff, right? And he's like I have cancer. And it's like, and he really feels like he has cancer and that his body is hurting, It's so crazy. It's so crazy to get into that mindset. But at the same time, it's like, if you can do that, it's potentially one of the greatest acting jobs of all time, because you're not really acting at that point. Like you feel like you are that person.
Yeah, and I think that a great example of that was like Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. It's like he just became Lincoln, It's like he was the guy, and he did method act it, and everyone addressed him as like, Mr. President on set. But then he did a great job as that character because it was so effortless. So yeah, I understand that, but it just got a little creepy to me when he's like acting as though he's channeling the father of this woman, and it's like, but you're not actually channeling his spirit. You're an actor. Like, it's the same dude.
No, for sure. But I guess for them, it's like, it's hard to maybe turn that off. Like when you're doing it for so many hours a day, right? And you like he said, who was it? There was a band that asked him, I think it was, what the heck is the name of that band? They're like a punk, not a punk band, but like a rap punk band. The heck is the name of it? Shoot. They're like a huge band too. Why can't I remember the name of it? They asked him to be in the music video for Man on the Moon, and he said no. He said, I couldn't put myself back into that role. Like he wanted to separate himself as much away from Andy Kaufman as he could, because he felt like it like messed up his life.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've definitely felt that before with an acting role where I needed to play a character that was like very anxious, and then I felt myself be like feeling more self-conscious and uncomfortable in regular life, and needed to like detach from that. And it is tough, like sometimes when you get so much into a character and you're doing it for so many hours that like you start believe, because a part of it is that you're bringing out that side of you, you're bringing out like those emotions that you have within you in that moment. And it's like, then you start seeing sides of yourself that you hadn't really seen before. And you're like, am I this guy? And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Well, I remember we talked even like how we turn off being a performer from stage, off stage, like especially with mentalism. Like I find like if I did a card trick on stage, I'm not going to walk off stage and someone is going to go, were you born with this gift? Right? They're going to know that I've spent several hundreds of hours perfecting this, right? But like I said to a lady the other day, I told her something about her past, and she was freaking out. Actually, I had a guy in the show the other day, just like lose it in the middle. He was right in the middle of the audience, and I said, "Is there a Richard in the audience? I have this feeling right now, like there's a Richard." And obviously, I went into the whole thing, like the showmanship of it. And this guy said, "I'm Richard," and I said, "Richard, I just want you to think about something that's happened in your life." And I hadn't talked to Richard before the show or anything like that. And I started telling Richard, like he was sitting at a table and he's like, in this moment, and I said, you're thinking about something from your past. Like, this is not something that happened recently. And he's like, yeah. And I said, you were sitting at a table with a group of friends? And he's like, and he starts yelling out in the audience. He's like, I've never met this guy in my life. Like, and he goes, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And I said, you asked a woman a question that wasn't sitting at your table, correct? And then he started to lose it. And he's like, he's standing up. The rest of the audience is sitting down. He's standing up and he's like, and I said, did you ask a woman if she was pregnant, or like when she was due, like you thought she was pregnant? And he was like, he started like what the shit, like what is going on? It's like I've never told anybody this story. And I said, and she wasn't pregnant, correct? And yeah, he lost it, but which was great. But I found like the rest of the week, a lot of people were scared, I think, to talk to me because they were like, oh, this guy is truly reading people's minds, because they saw this, and this guy's freaking out that he never met me before.
Embarrassing moment for that guy, right? So it's like they're thinking that all of their embarrassing secrets, and
all their secrets.
Comfortable.
Yeah, I was a very intimidating person, I guess, to talk to the rest of the week. I mean, and there were some people that stopped me, and it was great, and we chatted and stuff. Like the guy that invited me out to Lilydale and stuff. And those were great conversations, but literally even that guy thought I have some type of power. And so I think it can be a dangerous, because you have to get out of that role when you're off of stage.
And for everybody that hasn't seen the movie Nightmare Alley, which you are one of them, check out the movie because it's entirely about that. It's about someone who starts as a mentalist, and then people start wanting more, and they start wanting to do private sessions with him because they genuinely believe he can communicate with their dead relatives. And it's like, hey, I could make a whole lot of money if I just bullshit these people a little bit. If I just tell them a little bit of uplifting stuff that makes them feel good, then, I could make millions of dollars from these rich people. It's like, it's not that bad. They have the money to spare. And it's like, well, what happens when you start going down that path?
And it is crazy. Like, I find all the time, like literally I'm answering that question all the time with people is like, were you born with a gift? What do you see? Like, da 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 da. And it's like, well, it's magic. But people truly believe that it's 100% real. I think there is psychology and stuff that goes into mentalism, and I will never say to anybody that there's not, because I know with my scripting, there's a lot of psychology built in. But I always tell people that there's math, there's science, there's magic, there's psychology. All of those things combined is what mentalism is, and it's what magic is as well. Like, a lot of magic is done with mathematics and stuff, right? So are you going to say that magic is 100% sleight of hand or tricks? No, because it's not. There's mathematics and there's science involved in some tricks and stuff. And so I think it's an honest answer, but
yeah. And hey, I'm sorry, wondering, has anyone else on the street or in a show asked you, what am I thinking? Yeah, all the time. All the time. 100%. What am I thinking?
As soon as I walked out of the theater, people, like that night, someone said to me, I heard that you were from Brantford, Ontario. That's where my ex-wife is from. If you could tell me her name right now, then I'm going to lose it and jump off the ship, right? And I was like, well, I'm not going to tell you that. But I mean, I could have easily went into a routine and told him. But at the same time,
I don't want you to jump off the ship.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I'll keep that between us. I'll give her a call tonight, and then just made a joke of it. I was like, I'll call her tonight later on when I go to my room. But I ran into that guy like 4 or 5 times, and we had great conversation. He loved it. But yeah, I get asked that every single show after the show. What am I thinking? You know, and then I usually tell people, like, the show's over. I leave that stuff on stage, and come back and see the next show. Maybe I'll tell you what you're thinking.
Yeah, Think a Drink is based completely on Pascal's law of hydrostatics. So, math. So learn your math, learn your physics, and you can do magic too. I mean, that's the thing is, I think that magic is a really cool art form because that's also the reason that I don't like a lot of when people try to pigeonhole what magic is supposed to be. When people go like, oh, this is the way Vernon did it, so that's how magic is supposed to be done, or that's the way Marlowe, or what, or they just name like any kind of magician of the past, and that's what magic is in their mind. And it's like the whole thing that's great about magic is it's sharing with people things that they've never experienced before. And if you can create a moment that nobody's ever experienced before, magician or not, then that is magic, and you're contributing this to this community. And the people that can do that are like engineers, people that build robotics, people that build software and coding. They're able to add and create new things that haven't been possible before, and that is magic. And that's what keeps us ahead of the curve, is that we're constantly innovating. And I think anybody that tries to pigeonhole magic to be what has been done in history and the right way to do magic, I think just has magic because there isn't a right way to do it. There is not entertaining way to do it. If your audience isn't thoroughly entertained and mind blown, then you're not doing magic right, because you're sharing with them something that is impossible. So it should be mind blowing at the baseline,
Well, I mean, you helped write the new show that I'm doing, that I will be doing. And look, I brought John, who was probably one of the most inspirational people when we were writing, who's not a magician at all, but gave so many more magical moments than some magicians that were involved in.
His imagination wasn't hindered and limited by method. It was just like, this would be really cool. This would be really crazy story-wise. And that's like the way you should think with magic. Yeah. So it was, you're totally right with that. And I think that what's great about magic is that if you think about in like stories where there's a wizard, there's somebody who's able to actually do magic in like some kind of fantasy story, then those characters they have like a set of skills that it seems so disparate. Like there's no pattern. It's like it's like Gandalf just knows a bunch of random shit about different spells and different things that can be done. And it's like, he doesn't have a specific set of knowledge. It's because he pulls from all of these different things that he's able to create magic. And I think that in the real world, like that's what magic is you're pulling from all different disciplines. And I think that I still end up throughout my day-to-day life just remembering random facts that I learned when I was in school in like 5th grade. And then it ends up inspiring, a new routine or something. So it's like, pay attention and be observant to everything that you learn, because everything around you can be inspiration for something that could be magical.
For sure. No, 100%. I like that. And that's probably sometimes where I have my best ideas, is like just random places, like walking through the grocery store and I'm like, oh, this would be crazy, which actually I do want to talk to you about, because I know you have your routine with different music things in your show.
Yeah,
and I may want to use a similar idea to that, so I may have to talk to you about that.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about it.
Just for cruise ship stuff, if I do another cruise ship, because just not having people come on stage and stuff, I think it'd be cool to use something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's probably
on the DL,
so we can start talking about it then.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours basically now, so I think this has been a fun episode. I mean, it was just us chatting and stuff, but
definitely do more games. Next week, I will prove the existence of Bigfoot.
Please do. But we're gonna save who we have coming on next week. We'll make the announcement on New Year's Day. Maybe we'll make the announcement to say what's happening next week. Yeah. But stay tuned if you're one of our patrons, to stay tuned to the weekly patter, because you'll get to hear about all of the merch drop stuff. and all the merch that is specific to our patrons. And
Well,
if
that's
you're not,
idea, Soccer Man, we should do a Kahoot. So Kahoot, for those of you like Ryan who didn't attend high school in the past like 5 years, basically, Kahoot is a website, and it's like where it's like a quiz thing where you make a code, and then everybody that has that code can go on Kahoot and they can
go on there.
phones with us. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
post a quiz, and then everybody can answer, and we can see who got the most points.
Oh, done. Let's do that next week.
Yeah.
All right. Note to self, Kahoot. And I did know about that. I didn't know what it's called, but I have seen it.
Let's do Kahoot. Easy boy. What's up, Ethan? We got a lot of people in the Twitch chat this time. That's awesome.
I was gonna say Twitch is blowing up today.
Blowing up today. Awesome.
Nice. Well, again, if you guys aren't a member of our Patreon, go on patreon.com/allaccessmagic, sign up, because we're constantly making it better and crazier giveaways and stuff for you guys. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, it's just we're constantly adding new things. Every single week we're adding new things to the Patreon.
Every week.
And this coming week it will be the merch drop and exclusive merch to just the patrons. So if you want to get some sick designs and get a sneak peek into what those designs will be before anybody else, and the chance to get them before anybody else, then check out our Patreon. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode of All Access Magic, and we will see you next week.
Peace out, guys. Have a good one.